Hello everyone, my name is Jennifer and welcome to Best Kept Plans. Today's video is going to be a look at my November 2024 TBR. If you're interested in seeing what books I want to read this month, please stick around. I just finished my October 2024 reading recap. I had to change my shirt because I was sweating after drinking my coffee. The coffee is definitely hitting. I'm definitely feeling some energy and very excited to talk about the books that I'm going to be reading in November. I chose 6 books for this TBR. That's been working really well for me this year and definitely something that I'm planning on bringing into 2025. I also read every book on my October 2024 TBR, and that's something that I would really like to accomplish again in November and also bring through to December, finishing out the year strong in accomplishing my TBRs. The first book that we're going to talk about in my TBR is one that I received a digital ARC for on NetGalley, and that is The Co-op by Tarah DeWitt. I read Savor It by Tarah DeWitt earlier this year. I was fortunate enough to get a digital ARC of that book as well. That was my first Tarah DeWitt book, and I absolutely loved it. I gave it 4.5 out of 5 stars. And so being able to read The Co-op was something I was super excited about. I have already read this book. I'm filming this video on November 9th. I've already read this. Very excited to talk with you all about it when I do my November wrap up. The next book we're going to talk about is a book that I'm actually currently reading. I'm about 150 pages, about a third of the way through, Masters of Death by Olivie Blake. I've read a couple Olivie Blakes this year, a couple of her books last year. I have really enjoyed all of them. This one has definitely been a little bit different. It is taking me a little bit of time to get into the story, and I don't think it's the story's fault. I think it's life's fault. This has been quite a week, a very challenging week, I think, for a lot of us. Definitely a very challenging week for me. And my motivation, my interest in reading has just been very low because my energy overall has been low and my spirit has been low. And so I think it's just been a little bit harder for me to get into this one because of that. And I'm bummed about that, but I do feel like right now I'm at a turning point in the story where pieces that were kind of brought up in the beginning of the book are now starting to come together a little bit more, and that's exciting. And I'm hoping that I can finish this in the next day or so because I'm listening to this while I'm physically reading it, and my library hold on the audiobook is due back tomorrow. So that's the second book on my TBR. The third book on my TBR is an ARC that I received through NetGalley. I am excited for this one, but I'm also very nervous for this one. And that is The City and Its Uncertain Walls by Murikami. I have never read a Murakami book before. I've definitely heard a lot about him and his writing. Good things, some problematic things. I'm definitely interested and intrigued in reading something by him. I don't know if an ARC was the best choice for me in terms of my first book by him, but we will see. I don't know. That's probably the book that I'm most worried about on this TBR. Next, we have an ARC that I received a physical copy of. I got this from Grand Central Publishing, so thank you so much to them for sending this to me. And that is I Might Be in Trouble by Daniel Aleman. This book is coming out in December 3rd. I definitely want to get it read in the month of November because I have quite a few ARCs that I need to get to in December for the month of December and January. So really trying to get ahead on some of them, and this is one of them. I don't know what this is about at all, but the cover is very interesting. I don't know if you could see. So we'll see what we're getting into. I feel like this is probably like contemporary fiction, and hopefully I like it. Next, we have a book that is on my 24 books in 2024 reading challenge. I have been wanting to read this for a really long time because this is a TV series on Netflix, and the TV series actually looked really intriguing to me. So I'm hoping to read the book and then watch the show, but we'll see how it goes. And that is Anatomy of a Scandal by Sarah Vaughan. I will be reading and listening to this one at the same time. Very excited to do that. I do know that this is involving some type of court case. I know that there's like infidelity involved, and it just seems like a very intriguing story, and I'm excited. I've never read anything by Sarah Vaughan before, so very, very excited to give that a read. And then the last book that's on my TBR is also on my 24 books in 2024 reading challenge. I'm kind of on time with that challenge right now. I have 4 more books to read before the end of the year, so 2 in November, 2 in December. And the second book that I chose was On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous by Vuong. I read a book of poetry by Vuong earlier this year, and it was challenging for me, and I kind of didn't know how I felt about it after finishing it. And I think it was called Time is a Mother. And it kind of made me nervous about reading On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous, which is why I've kind of put this one off so far to the end of the year. But I'm still very, very intrigued and excited to read this. I've heard just such amazing things about this book. And it is one that I'm hoping to listen to and read at the same time. I'm hoping that if I have a little bit of a hard time getting into it, like I did with his book of poetry, that the audiobook kind of helps me there. It usually does, which is great. So those are the 6 books that are on my TBR. Definitely a variety. We have like some general fiction, we have a romance, we have some fantasy. I don't quite know what you'd classify Anatomy of a Scandal as. I feel like it might be mystery thriller just because of the content, but I'm excited to give these books a read. I'm nervous about some of them, but hopefully everything ends up turning out well. There's definitely some other books that I want to get to in the month of November as well that are not on my TBR. I have been doing this little unofficial Agatha Christie reading challenge for myself this year, where I've read some collections of hers that are all centered around different seasons. So the autumn one is my last one that I need to read, and I want to read that this month. There's another arc that I received that comes out next month, not in my book, that I really, really want to read this month. And yeah, I'm excited for November. I'm excited for reading in November, even though reading so far in November has just been a challenge because of where I'm at emotionally and mentally right now. So we'll see what the rest of the month has in store. I hope that you all enjoyed this video. If you have read any of the books that I talked about, Anatomy of a Scandal, On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous, Masters of Death, and you want to chat about them, please leave some spoiler-free comments down below, especially on Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous. I'm very intrigued to hear what people have to say about that book. And that's gonna be it. As always, everyone, please be safe. Bye-bye.